One of the most difficult challenges that faces sales and marketing today is sheer massive clutter. Clutter includes spam in your inbox, in your texting, in your cell phone. It also includes the sheer volume of ads that are being placed and the algorithms that are stalking these customers and clients and prospects such that they really can't get away and they feel overwhelmed by it. You probably have already experienced this yourself as a consumer or B2B target, and you know what we're talking about. The bottom line is clutter overwhelm is often affecting client sales and it's causing a negative impact. This is Paul Kostial, the founder of Audience Innovation and Blazin Connect, and we're going to talk about rising above that noise today and how to beat your competition and put your message in the hands of those most important to you in an inviting and engaging format. The challenge applies to companies of all sizes, all business types, across all categories, Fortune 500 companies down to small and medium-sized businesses and everything in between. Let's face it, sales and marketing today is rigorous, no matter the company size. Many are literally pouring thousands of dollars into their online platforms, and their online results in many cases just aren't there yet. And part of the reason is because of this mass clutter overwhelm, and the competition for that ad space to get in front of those people is deep. As a direct result, many are integrating very tactical and tangible offline options that are going to engage and entice their most valued customers. Today, many marketing and sales executives are looking for smarter options that will stand above their competition and that warm their targets with inviting VIP touchpoints that are both compelling and enticing. And more often today, they're combining both offline and online touchpoints to earn the attention of these most valued targets, both customers and prospects, and then nurturing these VIP relationships with productive and valued tactics that both entice and engage. We call this design valued sequenced messaging, and it works very well. And maybe oddly, we've tested it with numerous clients. It's the offline component that is often driving their targets then into their online channels, into their sales assets, and then increasing the sales interaction. We use this very simplified graphic to illustrate a targeted sales interaction funnel, the valued sequenced messaging of both online and offline. It's what we like to call the carrot plan, using a variety of carrots to entice and engage your key targets. We start on the left with the littlest, teeniest, tiny carrots, and as an example, online touch points, which is generally your broadest targeting. And then we're going to move them into offline touch points because they rise up in the funnel, and it's more narrowed targeting, and it might, as an example, be your offline touch points. And then we're going to raise them one step further into your Salesforce interaction and the most narrow targeting aspect. As a striking example of the results achieved using valued sequenced messaging, meaning a sequence of both online and offline touch points to rise above the noise, this Fortune 500 client ran a side-by-side test. The target audience they chose was one of their most difficult to reach. The target was defined as 100% C-suite, 100% acquisition, and 100% enterprise, which, as most of you know, when these three factors are combined, makes it one of the most difficult for any organization. Via their own internal measures taken at 6 months, the online-only group delivered a 0.9% call to action, whereas the group that received the offline push campaign also delivered a 59% call to action response rate. Again, these results were taken at 6 months by the client's own internal marketing team, and clearly both the sales and marketing teams were thrilled, of course. And further illustrating the offline impact, giving proven and powerful messaging results, meaning rising above that noise, when compared with online-only marketing tactics, it maybe at best yield a 10% call to action and response. These offline platforms will cut through that clutter for you. You're going to get 100% target reach, 90% will see your brand, 80% will read your VIP messaging, and 60% are going to engage your call to action. Now again, these are response results that are aggregated averages spanning hundreds of campaigns and targets. These results are proven time and time again for B2B and B2C and over hundreds of target audience types and business categories. In illustrating proof of concept further, one of the world's largest interactive advertising agencies used an offline touchpoint platform to target the world's leading CMOs with their CEO's messaging sequence. They were having trouble reaching the CMOs online. They're very difficult to reach, and they added the offline component to coordinate with the online component. Very successful campaign. And this example with a B2C target, consumer target, one of the world's leading online retailers used an offline touchpoint platform to target very specific consumers and very specific buying groups, all matched by MRI data. And using our retail geo demo platform, the results were far better than expected and delivered excellent call to action and sell-through of the products they were focused on in this particular campaign. In terms of breaking through the clutter, this is just 4 more examples of very high-value clients with high-value customers that they use both an online and an offline touch point in combination and sequence to deliver their results. This is a commercial bank, a wealth management client, a luxury spa and resort hotel, and a channel technology provider. And as a smaller company example, a regional mortgage broker used offline touchpoint platforms to target their most valued customers and prospects with an ongoing messaging sequence and essentially putting their CEO's messages directly in the hands of their most valued business and consumer targets. These dozen examples represent companies of all types and targets of all types, both B2B and B2C, and a good variety of each. In each case, the client wanted to target a very specific target audience to cut through the clutter using offline touch points to enhance their sales and their messaging with this key target audience, both to drive online and to drive to their sales asset platforms. Very, very effective examples. And yes, we practice what we preach. We also use our own offline platforms coordinated with or sequenced with our online messaging to target our own clients and prospects. As a quick example of our own internal response results, just after receiving an announcement letter, which is the beginning of any platform, we received 65 direct thank you notes and over 30 days received 15 proposal requests. This was a very high percentage of a very small target audience. In addition to rising above the noise, one huge advantage of these platforms is the stealth nature of them. No one knows about it except who you target and who built the program. In other words, your competitors don't find out about it. It's a very tactical application. They generate these results. The messaging is often very crafted around executive leadership and educational touch points, nurturing those vital and valued B2B relationships that are most important to your company, or engaging affluent consumers in their homes, or educating patients in doctors' waiting rooms has been very popular for many years. Point of sale messaging for consumer targets in any geo demo footprint. All of it's designed to bolster your corporate marketing and sales initiatives. As you can see there on the right, 80% of the Fortune 500 have used or use these platforms, and 90% of the top 50 pharmas have used or use these platforms. And here's just one example of a 6-page CEO executive messaging platform. As you can see, there's lots of real estate, those 6 pages to the right, the back cover, the front cover, the inside back, the gatefold left, gatefold right, and then the CEO's message. That's the front cover of the magazine in this case. It was targeted to about 1,500 of this particular client's most critical B2B decision-making targets. And there's her message right on the inside front cover. Created a very powerful connection with these audience members and helped drive them onto their online platforms and back to their sales force. In many cases, depending on the target audience, but especially for B2B in-office or affluent in-home targets, you're creating a gesture of goodwill. It's your recognition of their value and that you appreciate their business, and you recognize them as a valued customer. And in turn, they appreciate the attention and they're going to respond with valued reciprocity. They appreciate the gesture and they take notice, and the results are higher because of that. So here's an example of a B2B target's annual sequence, which includes both online and offline. And this one uses a magazine cover app, which is one of our many solutions, sequenced then with the online messaging to create a long-term, over an annual period of time, sequence message in a leadership capacity. And keep in mind, the gesture, meaning the offline component, stays around much longer, typically like 3 weeks on average. They keep it. They value it and they appreciate it, and they're going to have a long-term relationship with your company because you keep feeding them the information that you'd like to share with them. In designing platforms that will make you most successful with cutting through that clutter, rising above the noise, multiple tactics can be engaged in order to cause that result with these offline touchpoint examples. We're going to often build from pre-built networks and or data mining resources to make sure you're reaching only exactly who you want to reach. That's a huge component in driving a result when you're not having any waste, so zero wasted dollars. We're also going to include key media and publishers that will add co-branding content of value to your campaign and create a more engaging relationship with your customer and your prospects. We use a lot of interactive options as well, depending on the client situation, to drive a greater engagement and greater response rate. And then we will help design creative best practices that messaging that you want to convey is conveyed in this type of format most effectively. Marketing today often looks and feels like the top line, the big squiggly line that eventually gets there, but it goes all over the place. The better scenario is to rise yourself above that noise, create a direct line between you, A, the company, and B, your target audience, and cause a more direct, engaged result. That's the goal, and it really simplifies everything about your targeting and your relationship between marketing and sales and driving those results that you're looking for. So one of the first steps we take in terms of identifying the targeting platform that's most appropriate is whether it's going to be a direct-to-recipient platform or direct-to-location platform. So when speaking with a client, we're going to learn a little bit more about their target audience. Is it someone you want to reach in their office, like by name and title, or in their home if it's a confluent consumer? Where are they and how are we going to reach them? And do you already have the database? Or are we going to build one for you? Or in direct locations like out of home for retail, like hair salons, nail salons, automotive dealerships, barbershops. We've got 200 different location types. We're going to map into that design. Or in physicians' waiting room for pharma programs, targeting and educating patients prior to reaching the point of care, the doctor or the nurse. This is a very critical step right at the beginning that is very important in terms of aligning the best platform for a particular client scenario. And with the offline messaging components in particular, you're literally putting tangible messages in the hands of anyone, anywhere, in their home, in their office, or in the exact locations where they frequent as retail customers. It's very simple, it's very direct, and it's literally targeting anyone, anywhere, exactly who you want. People ask me often why these programs deliver such great results. Well, one, it stands out. It's very, very noticeable. It's very appreciated. It's the gesture that counts. It's the gesture that moves your target. They're going to respond well. It's a unique combination of co-branding, tangible touch points over time, and highly valued sequenced messaging with online that's going to drive the best engagement and deliver reliable sales asset interaction. So it's the gesture that's the key, and I think that's the key that moves these platforms to the top of the list of many of our clients. If you happen to have any interest in learning more about these types of platforms and whether they would work well for your target audience, our website is packed with information. The best option, though, if you'd like, is to schedule a call with us. We'll talk about your target, what you're currently doing, and what your current scenario is, and then we'll give you examples right then of other campaigns that are similar that we've made an impact for them, and we'll begin to draw out a possible plan for you. We look forward to hearing from you. We greatly appreciate your time, and of course, we hope you've learned something today. Thank you very much.